Welcome to the show that interviews the heroes, the villains, and all the folks in between, from across worlds, planes and beyond, from realms forgotten and paths found. This is Legendary. Hello everyone, welcome to Legend Lore. I'm your host, Alton Lanok, here for a fantastic episode. And without any further ado, I'll introduce today's guest. From the distant lands of Aubepal in the city of Marsh Hollow, hammering away in his shop is one extraordinary craftsman, a man of nuts and bolts, a man of gears and grease, traveling the world to sell his wares far and wide, and I heard he once drank a mug of piss on a dare. Whether he's slaying vampires, traveling through time, or struggling against the red tapes of guild politics, it's the one, the only, Burkhart Costogu.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and let me just say, you are by far the most exciting guest we've had so far.
Oh, that's wait, isn't it the first episode?
Correct. So anyway.
Okay.
I hope you're...
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You'll take it. You never know. If the studio doesn't like it, it'll be the one and only, and you'll win by default.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, anyway. So, Burkhart, pleasure to have you on the show. We've known each other for a good while. So, yeah. Just kind of, give us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of intro.
Yeah, this is the first time I've done something like this, so we'll see how it goes. But my name's Burkhart Costogu. I am a smith by trade and recent made adventure. To kind of get into that, I started training as an artificer and decided to kind of go down the path of magic a little more. So I don't know, I'm sure we can talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, I'm artificer by trade, and I have my good pal Mac with me. This
how did he get in here? The door is not that big.
Yeah, I can talk more about him later. I mean, I am the guest of honor.
Correct. For the folks at home listening in, standing now behind Burkhart is about like a 20-foot tall
16.
Robot? 16?
Yeah,
okay.
16.
Wow,
he's
16.
insecure about his height.
Only 4 feet difference. It's giant robot. It's kind of geared up. Hey, wait, you might be up the flooring. Can you fix that later?
Yeah, I'll fix it. I
bill you, but like,
cantrip, so.
All right, that's good. This is quite unnerving. He's kind of just staring blankly at me. Does he talk?
No, I'm working on that still.
You're working on that?
So, yeah.
Okay, it's kind of creepy.
We'll get there.
Just staring blankly.
That's okay. He won't hurt you.
Has he hurt anyone?
Not that I didn't want him to.
All right, moving on. Anyway,
yeah.
So you mentioned you're an artificer. Kind of so artifice, that's pretty open-ended. It's like saying like I'm a bard, but bards can sing, bards can dance, bards can draw, bards can. Not going to finish that sentence. This is a family-friendly show. So
okay.
What's your
Bards
kind
and
of
dragons?
What's your kind of specialty? What's your art?
Yeah. So artificers kind of do a few things. I've known some who have gone down the route of like making projectile-based contraptions. Some that have gone kind of more into the alchemy end of things. I myself kind of focused on the magic item end of artificing and kind of developing my friend Mac here. So half my time is spent kind of preparing machines and magical items for groups and for sale. Works hand in hand with my business. We'll talk about that later, I hope. And yeah, so Mac, to paint a better picture for the people at home, is as we said earlier, giant 16-foot tall robot.
It's quite unnerving.
I've built him to kind of act as a shell for myself in combat if needed, and also just help around the shop and operate on his own.
Big boy.
He's got his own set of weapons, both ranged and melee. He's bipedal. I think that might be helpful for people
Yeah,
to know as
yeah,
well.
no, just a little bit. So you're like kind of like in his chest, kind of like.
Yeah. So the top part of his torso opens up, and I can just kind of sit in there, and sling spells if needed, or just kind of chill in him. We've used it's. He's come in great help. That's not a word or sentence, but we'll go with it. He's helped a lot with traveling, since he's not a beast of burden. He doesn't need to sleep, so we've strapped a cart or two to him and just let him truck us along. And he comes in handy for extracting people from dangerous situations if needed. So
Exciting. Well, this is more focusing on you, Burkhart, instead of your pal Mac. So
yeah, sorry, I just get real excited about him.
It's important. It's context. I mean, you could definitely consider your Magnus Opus, I'd assume.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But anyway, great segue earlier. You mentioned your shop. What? I couldn't find the record of it. What's the name of it?
The name of my shop. It's been a while since I've been at the official one down in Marshmallow, but the name of my shop, if I'm recalling, is Mind Over Metal.
Very clever title.
Yes, of course. I think myself to be quite clever. Wise, no, but clever maybe. It's currently being run by my apprentice, Ardor Boldstep. He's a Minotaur. He's doing great work, but yeah, we specialize in all sorts of smithing stuff and magical items as well, both repair and construction. So
yeah, I have your catalog right here. I was kind of like flipping through it earlier, and kind of like looking over it. It seems pretty standard. You have some swords that hit harder, some armor that gets hit less hard.
Excuse you.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Like some bags that hold more stuff. Like it's just.
Alright, I'll have you know, we also have things along the lines of like gauntlets that make you much stronger, give you the power of ogres, leather armor that is capable of looking like whatever you want it to.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it in here.
I also know how to make the Helm of Telepathy, which lets you read people's mind. That's pretty cool.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
We also have a Horn of Valhalla, which I believe a party member in our group used to kill the local fish population of a fishing village town one time. Or wait, no, that was not the case. But that horn was used for dangerous activities, I think.
So like all these items sound amazing, sound great, but
Yeah,
again,
they're
like
awesome.
they're
Shop at our store.
Yeah, Mind Over Metal, hit it up.
Mind Over Metal, yeah, hit it up.
But like, again, it's all common, like what you'd expect. What's the black label stuff? What's the weird, the inventive, the strange?
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I have a piggy bank that nobody can steal from.
How old are you again?
I'm in my early 20s. Anyway, but like, so I guess a thing that not a lot of other people have made, or at least not that I've seen, that I'm kind of proud of, other than Mac, of course, is that during one of our adventures, I found this small, like, portable and expandable smithy. Which, I mean, was just perfect for me in general, because if I was going to go on adventures, that was my main concern. Like, how was I going to keep up my shop and pay dues to the smithing guild? So I find this portable smithy, and after studying it for some time, I actually figured out a way to replicate it and kind of bestow this effect on other buildings. So, for example, I made a small library for one of our other party members, Torment. One of the party members, Juke, he had this cart that he had been in since I met him, and apparently for many years before that. And I made that have the same ability of shrinking and expanding at will. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know how that goes with the whole like property taxes, but it's just like setting up a camp, but a little more fancy. So
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty interesting item. Might even be interested in commissioning one, a recording studio. You know, it helps
yeah.
to
So if you need to do a show on the road,
show on the road, evade income taxes. You know, I'm a fairly mobile man. Helps to not be pinned down one spot due to tax reasons.
yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's certainly exciting items. And if you're ever interested in folks at home listening in, if you're ever interested in some of the items, you can check out his shop. We'll mention that all again at the end, but let's move on. So at the end, you mentioned you made some these fancy mobile homes. I'm gonna refer to them as for your party members. I've kind of like flipped through some records, some newspaper clippings, some tales and taverns. In your party, if the name I've heard correctly, is Barely Jocks and the Jukebox. And from my records, it's about a rotating cast, like almost 30 members.
Yeah, we've from what I understand, I'm a relatively new member, but we've had quite a few people jump in and out of the party. Apparently it started with Juke and like 3 other adventures, and then they went into a dungeon and got absolutely just were not prepared for it. And then Juke eventually found a few more people, and then they helped deter the fire giant attack on my hometown of Bayborn.
Is that how you ran into them?
Yeah. So it was more of kind of coincidence. I was like planning on starting an adventure soon, but with the shop that I had in Bayborn, and just like being kind of inexperienced, I didn't know how to start. But luckily, the fire giant and some fire doors, which I think are called Azers, helped me out by just destroying my shop for me, so didn't have to worry about that anymore.
Not something I would consider helping out with, but I guess if it opened a new chapter for you, that
it definitely opened the door.
Well, it did more than open that door.
It got rid of it altogether. But yeah, so after getting a little bit of help from Mac, he kind of deterred the fire giant, and with a quick nap under my shop, or the debris of it.
What remains, yeah.
Yeah, after that, Mac and I made our way over to where we could see the fire giant, and right before we got there, it actually fell to the ground, and we found this party that looked pretty battered, both emotionally and physically, and looked like they could use a pretty optimistic helping hand. So I pride myself as a pretty optimistic person, so thought I'd offer my assistance, and they took it, and we've been going around ever since.
Exciting. All across Aubepal, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think at this point we've probably explored every city, town, village, some of them just stopping through, but yeah.
Yeah, we can touch on that a bit more, but kind of what I want to talk about now is, so you've adventured with a large amount of people. It seems like an ever-rotating cast. So are there any that stand out, like any that you'd consider your favorite member?
I don't really know if I have any favorite members. The group that I've been with the most, I kind of like them all for their own various reasons, which is good, because it would kind of be tragic if we were working together and didn't like each other. But like, for example, the group that we have now is myself, Juke, which is our Warforged Bard, Mira, which is our elf monk. We also have Torment, which is our tiefling. Oh man, what does she specialize in?
Tiefling, I don't want to be racist, but I'd assume warlock, but I could be wrong.
She is a warlock, yeah. Actually.
She is a warlock.
It's been a while. We haven't done adventures in a while. And then Eris, which is I think a half elf. Oh man, it's been a while.
I mean, yes, with the
sorcerer.
pandemic, I can't imagine you'd be adventuring much.
Yeah, no.
My
I think she's a
records,
sorcerer.
yeah, my records indicate that's definitely magical use.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorcerer sounds correct.
Yeah, I like them all. They've all got their different banes and boons. Like Juke is like strangely clever for being as old as he is, and he's just a joy to work with.
Wait, how old?
Uh, I don't think he really knows, but based on the sheer volume of books that he's kept of his life, it seems like it's getting on 400, maybe a little older, somewhere around that 400
That's-
years.
Good thing robots don't age.
Yeah, which, yeah, it's very fascinating to me. And then, like, Mira is just so incredibly talented. I've seen her beat up many more thugs than I've seen anybody even go toe-to-toe with.
Yeah, I've seen some wanted posters of her.
Yeah, wanted for help, not for crime, right?
Moving on.
Aries is a little weird. Aries is newer to the party as well. She's kind of a little edgy at first, but she's opened up a lot.
What party's complete without at least one edgelord?
Yeah. There's always one. And then Torment is kind of a bookworm, so to say, which is the whole reason why I built her a library, to kind of have her own little secluded area to spend time reading up and saving books that she's gathered for her studies.
So it's very interesting.
That's the current group we had going. We haven't done adventuring in a while. We were on this one quest that the trail kind of went cold, so we decided to split up for the time being and go about our own things. So I think Juke and I had returned to Marshallow. I haven't seen him in a little while though, because I went off to kind of gather some materials for the forge, and then, if I recall, the ladies all went to follow Mira to her monastery.
Oh, she's in charge of a monastery.
Yeah, more by chance than by choice. But...
Okay, I was about to say, my records of her exploits, that's concerning.
Yeah.
I assume it's a punchy monastery, not really a prayer.
Yeah,
monastery.
it goes a little hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
No pun intended. I'd say you could interview her, but from what I know, that might go the other way around. Yeah. Bottom line, I love the whole group and do anything for them, but I don't think I have a favorite.
All right, you have to understand that's a pretty lame answer. So let's flip it around. You have to drop one, vote one off the island,
I have to vote
airlock one of
island?
them. You have to boot one of them out. Which one and why? And hopefully they're probably not listening, but at least not listening live.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think. Okay. So booting one from the party. Oh man, that's such a loaded question.
Like, okay, well, we can expand it beyond. Like, it's been a rotating door. Is there anyone that left that you were like, oh, thank God he's gone? Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I feel bad now because my memory's a little poor. But there was this one particular party member, that was just kind of like. He messed with the party dynamic a little. He was a very righteous person, which kind of helped correct the moral compass of the group a little bit. But it was also kind of like he one time handcuffed Juke to a railing for the sake of trying to do it, even though we were attempting to do something. So
sure. I mean, Bard probably deserved it. Probably was doing something dumb.
Yeah, he probably.
I say that as a bard myself. So
yeah, but we were in the middle of trying to do something that was kind of time sensitive.
Oh, okay. I retract my statement.
Yeah, like he probably deserved it, but it could have waited. And eventually, yeah, he eventually decided to step out of the party, which I think made a lot of people a little more comfortable. probably made us do some things that were maybe not the best, but I think
Yeah,
I don't know.
someone very lawful. It's probably best for both members in that group. I can't imagine sticking around with someone who follows the letter of the law to a T, and I can't imagine someone who follows the letter of the law to a T would want to stick around with someone who, takes that T and,
Just kind of
again, can't finish that sentence. This is a family show. So anyway.
yeah, yeah. So I think it worked out better for everybody involved, but I don't know. I think it's I think the party is better not having him around, but I also hope that he's doing well for himself.
I mean, yeah.
I'm pretty confident that he would be.
Yeah, no, certainly. It sounds like a person you'd consider a friend, but just not someone you want to work with. I can respect that.
Yeah, and granted, I didn't know him that long.
Oh, you were in for like a week, and then he's like, "Peace."
Yeah, he left pretty shortly after I had joined up, but from what I did know of him, there was some weird conflict with the rest of the group. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it's a good look into the party. Barely Jocks in the Jukebox. Interesting name. I've heard a lot.
I think it's a work in progress name.
It's fair. I mean,
yeah,
it seems to imply the Juke, as his name is, being the Jukebox, seems to be the leader of the group. That would be the dynamic implied.
Yeah, he's kind of the voice of the party, but I think mainly the reason why he's so involved in the name is because he's the only member in the party that's existed since the start of the party. He's like the only one now that hasn't like cycled out, so he's the kind of glue that's kept the party together.
Yeah, certainly interesting thing. So, we have your background, we have your party. Let's kind of move on. So your days of adventure, which seems to have calmed down a bit, but you still had some adventure. We kind of talked about a little bit about kind of like what drove you to adventuring. You read some books. Yeah. You just wanted to have your fun, your moment of glory, your moment of fame.
Yeah, kind of make my own stories.
Make your own stories. Very admirable. But not to be rude. It's kind of boring. So anyway,
fair.
Dumbest person you ever had to save, go.
Okay, so I don't really think a lot of the people that we've saved have ever been in situations where it was their own fault. I mean, allegedly, my party had to go to great lengths to return me from a state of petrification by a greater basilisk, but I don't buy it. I think they're just pranking me. I remember being in a cave and then suddenly we were in a village, so I don't remember there being a greater basilisk at all.
I mean, that sounds like what would happen if you got petrified and then unpetrified.
I guess that's fair, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. I think they might be pranking me. But yeah, I don't think anybody that we've saved other than myself would be considered a dumb person.
Well, maybe not dumb.
I think they'd all to attest to that.
That's fair. All right, so we can change this up, make one a bit more interesting. So you've been all over Aubepal. I think you've even traveled to farther realms beyond, still within your world, but
yes.
Off that continent.
Yep.
What's the coolest place you've ever been? What's the most exciting? The place where you went, I could die right now because this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and nothing will come close to competing with it.
Okay, so there are a few places I'm going to talk about. First of all, there's this magic item that we had that was a bell that had just an effect whenever you rang it.
Sounds dangerous.
And one time it transported us all to a bell-shaped fortress that was just filled with treasures and monsters. And we kind of made our way through there gathering loot and fighting monsters. And when we all thought it was the end, it turns out that it transported us out of the dungeon, but we got to keep all of the things that we gathered. So that was really cool. But a place that I have been on the world in the material plane that really just was perfect for me was this place called the Isle of Machines, which is Jukes' hometown, home continent, city, country. I don't really know what it's called.
I haven't found much in this in my record, so you seem to be the expert here.
Yeah, it's essentially an entire floating island of machines, warforged, and they've got these crazy mechanisms that I just would never have dreamed of. And they
sounds like an artificer's paradise, utopia.
it was great. I would love to go back at some point. I think I might have pushed the envelope a little too much while I was there, and I don't know if they would want me back. But hopefully someday I'll be able to return and learn a little more, because it was great.
Perhaps they have a college you can enroll in.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But that place was great. Like, buildings bigger than any city I've seen. They had these sort of like mine carts on rails, but
mine carts are on rails.
Yeah, but it wasn't mine carts. It was more like
the carriage?
Carriages that were operated without anyone moving them or pushing them or pulling them. It was
sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it was
very fast way to travel.
Yeah. It was great. And I'd love to go back there, but yeah, I truth be told, I don't actually know where it is located on the planet. I just know that it is somewhere out there.
Somewhere. Yeah. World's a big place.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Wait, how'd you get there in the first place then, if you don't know where it is?
I think it was Eris.
Magic?
Yeah, Eris had access to teleportation.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Teleportation.
Then you know
we ended up teleporting there.
Then you know if you have the circle, you know the spell, you can get there. Just a little bit of work.
I need to learn the spell or find somebody who knows the spell, because, like I said, after the party had split up for some time, until the trail goes warm again, so to say. I haven't actually seen Eris or Mira or Torment in quite a while, so I should check up with them.
Yeah. But certainly good. Keep up with your old adventuring buddies.
Yeah, see how everybody's doing. Hopefully nobody's dead.
Yeah.
They're all very capable, so.
Always the goal. So it seems like your adventuring days, for at least now, have kind of come, maybe not to a stop, but to a pause. Mm-hmm. If you were to have the opportunity again, would you hit play? Would you resume? Would you pick it back up again? Or are you content with just hammering away in your shop, having your adventure fulfilled, having your chapter in a book written?
I mean, yeah, I would totally be open to doing it again. Right now, I'm just in my shop, gathering resources, training Ardor. But
you're Minotaur apprentice, correct?
Yeah. I would absolutely be totally open to starting again, though, because even though we didn't do too many things that were super flashy and gained a lot of recognition, it felt very rewarding doing the things that we did do that kept people safe, even if they didn't realize it.
Yeah, I heard the vampire incident mentioned at the top of the episode kind of ended pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, so there were a few things that we've done that like there was this one leader of a thieves guild that Juke was telling me that the leader of a thieves guild hired the party at some point to take out the thieves guild because he didn't want to lead them anymore and he just wanted to be a merchant.
Why not just fire them?
That was my question when he told me the story. In terms of the vampire situation, we went all over the continent searching every town for these vampires, and then I think the conclusion was that we actually ended up finding the leader of the vampire group.
Ooh, showdown, exciting battle to the end.
Yeah, and then I think we I don't like. We didn't even fight him. I think it was that they had gone against his wishes and had been doing things in a way that he didn't want them to be. So we ended up like kind of striking a deal with him that he wouldn't do like anything negative, and we wouldn't like
Peaceful coexistence.
yeah. And he's been a very good informant in the city that he's been in. I think I don't remember if he's in Marshall right now or not, but it was a very strange conclusion to that chapter. But yeah, and then some of the other things we've done, which this was actually the last thing we were looking for, but we had discovered the presence of aberrations from beyond the astral plane.
That's a leap. So
Yeah,
vampires to beings that should not be. All right.
That's certainly a leap. It was partially by coincidence, partially by the fact that one of the party members had information on a previous sighting, and we were searching for it, and we actually stumbled onto another location where there was one. And these things are serious business, so if you do see anything that devours all matter around it, and
I plan on running the opposite way.
absolutely run the opposite way and report it to any adventuring guild, because it's some serious stuff. But I've been keeping my eye out for any reports of it, because it's definitely something we want to get rid of at earliest convenience.
On behalf of everyone else, I thank you for your service.
Yeah, no problem. I think maybe it's kind of foolish to tackle a threat as large as that, but I mean,
Someone's got to.
Yeah, somebody's got to, and we did a pretty okay job at it. So with the small one we dealt with.
All right.
But yeah, I would definitely pick up adventuring again. It's been a blast. I've made some great memories, great friends, seen the world. Up until I started adventuring, I only left Bayborn to get supplies and get beat up by some gnolls. So
That's not fun.
yeah, not really.
All right. Well, it looks like we're at the end of our time today. So thanks again so much, Burkhart, for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, thanks for having me.
For the folks at home, one more time, where can they find your shop? If I remember the title correctly, it was Metal Over Matter?
Nope, it's Mind Over Metal, and you can find Mind Over Metal in Marshall, lots of M's, easy way to remember it.
M&M's.
Yep, it's Marshall is just east of the capital of Aubepal, so can't really miss it. Big magical city. You can find us kind of towards the outskirts.
You
Ask
open
for what's that?
You open for like commissions, only regular stock?
Yeah, so I could give the whole schedule of the shop if you want. But yeah, we do commissions, we do general smithing work, magic items, almost anything you can think of, we can find one way or another to make.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again so much for stopping by and giving your time to talk a little bit about yourself and your adventuring days. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And to the folks at home, thank you all for tuning in to this episode. I hope you've had a grand old time. And until next time, I'll see you then on the next episode of Legend Lore.